Hello student, welcome to my YouTube channel Mobile Shala. Today's video we can give information about the 8th standard chapter number 1st living world and classification of microbes. Before giving information about this chapter, can you remember the hierarchy of classification of living organism? We have learned that in previous standard. Okay, the hierarchy for classification of living organism is kingdom, phylum, class, family, genus and species. Then who invented the binomial nomenclature system? So Carl Linnaeus is invented the binomial nomenclature system. Bi means two and nomial means name. It means that the two terms or two names are included into the binomial nomenclature system. So which level of hierarchy are considered while writing the name in binomial nomenclature? So out of the kingdom, phylum, class, family, genus and species, the genus and species, these two hierarchy of classification of living organisms, are these two terms, genus and species, these two terms are used to give the scientific name to any living organism. Okay, so in these two terms, or out of these two terms, the genus is written the first and then written the species. For example, Mangifera indica, it is the name of mango. Mangifera is the genus and indica is the species. So in this manner, scientific name is given to all living organisms, and also the things are present. Okay, then the first topic of this chapter is biodiversity and the need of classification. So what is meant by the biodiversity? So the variety that we see in the living organisms that exist onto the earth, which is called as the biodiversity. So according to 2011 census, around 87 million of species of the living organisms are found onto the earth, including land and sea. Okay, to study such a vast number of living organisms are present onto the earth, it is essential to divide them into the groups and subgroups. Okay, so for that purpose, scientists created the organisms groups and subgroups considering the organisms similar and different characteristic, and this process of dividing the living organisms into groups and subgroups is called as the biological classification. If we look inside the history or look at to the history, Carl Linnaeus, many of the scientists, he tried to classify the living organisms into groups and subgroups, out of which Carl Linnaeus in 1735 divided the living world into two kingdoms, kingdom Vegetabilia and the kingdom Animalia. Then Haeckel in 1866 considered the three kingdoms, kingdom Protista, plants and the animals. And then in 1925, Catton created two groups, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. What is meant by the prokaryotes and eukaryotes? We are discuss these two terms next into the video. Then in 1938, Copeland divided the living organisms into four kingdoms, kingdom Monera, Protista, plants and Animalia. In this chapter, only we can give information about the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, okay, and kingdom Fungi. Then living organisms. This is the flow chart. Okay, so Robert Harding Whittaker, R.H. Whittaker, was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided all the living organisms into the five groups or five kingdoms: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so to categorize or to group all the living organism into five kingdom, which kinds of characteristics or the criteria he can be used? So he used the first criteria is the complexity of the cell structure. It means that the organism cell is prokaryotic in nature or a eukaryotic in nature. So what is meant by the prokaryotic cell? Okay, so prokaryotic cell is the cell in which the nucleus and other cell organelles does not have the membrane around them. Okay, these nucleus and organism do not have the membrane around them, and that kind of cell is called as the prokaryotic cell. Then eukaryotic cell or eukaryotes. Okay, so into the eukaryotic cell, the well bound nucleus and well bound membrane nucleus and cell organelles are present or contain well definite membrane bound nucleus and the cell organelles inside these cells. They are called as the eukaryotic cells. Okay, then second characteristics he can be considered is the complexity of the organism. Complexity of the organism, it means that this organism is a unicellular or a multicellular. Okay, because the cells are increased, so complexity of the living organism is also increased. Okay, so unicellular, uni means single, only one, and cellular means cell. Okay, or a cell, unicell. So unicellular organisms in which only one cell is present and this single cell is carried out all the functions of this living organism. Okay, and then multicellular, multi means many. Okay, so more than one or many cells are present into the multicellular organisms, and all these cells are grouped together, okay, or working together to carry out the function of the living organism. Living organism. Okay, so in this manner, then the prokaryotes in which all the prokaryotic cell is the unicellular, okay, and they can be put into the kingdom Monera. Then eukaryotes are divided into two subgroups, unicellular and multicellular. So eukaryotes in which the unicellular organisms are put into the kingdom Protista, and multicellular organisms are categorized into three kingdoms: kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. Okay, so kingdom Fungi. So the organisms are present into the kingdom Fungi. They do not have the they have the cell wall around the cell, but they cannot perform the photosynthesis process. It means that these are depends on other organisms for the food purposes. Generally, fungals are the saprophytic organisms. Okay, then kingdom Plantae, the cell of the kingdom Plantae in which including the all plants, okay, and all the plant cells have the cell wall, okay, and they can perform the photosynthesis process, and that's why they are the autotrophic in nutrition. Then kingdom Animalia, so the cell of all animals are included the kingdom Animalia, and animal cell do not have the cell wall, okay, and that's why they does not perform the photosynthesis process. They can be depend on other organisms for the food purposes. That's why they are the heterotrophic in nutrition. Okay, so if we consider the lifestyle, okay, so here is the fungi are the decomposers, okay, and plants are the producers and animals are the consumers. Okay, so this is the flow chart of the living organisms are categorized into different 5 kingdoms. So out of these 5 kingdoms, in this chapter we can only give information, or we can learn only the characteristics of the organisms are belonging to the kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, and the kingdom Fungi, and then we can learn that in this chapter the some characteristics of the microorganisms. So first of all we can give information about the characteristics of the kingdom Monera. So generally all the types of bacteria and blue-green algae are included in the kingdom Monera. So which are the characteristics of the organisms are belonging to the kingdom Monera? See, these are the diagrams of the organisms are belonging to this kingdom Monera. So first characteristics, all the organisms are unicellular. They may be autotrophic or a heterotrophic in nutrition, and these are prokaryotic cell without distinct nucleus or a cell membrane. Okay, so it means that according to the first characteristics, the all organisms are belonging to the kingdom Monera are the unicellular. Okay, and all the organisms are present in that some are heterotrophic in nutrition and some are autotrophic in nutrition. It means that some are produce their own food and some are depends on others for the food purposes. Okay, then the cells of this or the organisms having the cells are the prokaryotic cell. It means that they do not have the membrane bound nucleus and other cell organelles inside the cell. Then the kingdom of Protista. Okay, so which are the characteristics of the kingdom of Protista? Okay, so see, this is the diagrams. Okay, Volvox, Euglena, Paramecium, amoeba, these are the some organisms are belonging to the kingdom of Protista. Okay, so see here, the Volvox and Euglena are the autotrophic and Paramecium and amoeba is the heterotrophic. It means that in Protista some organisms are autotrophic in nutrition and some are heterotrophic in nutrition. Then which are the other characteristics? Protista are the single cell organisms with the well defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane. Okay, so all the organisms are belonging to the kingdom Protista are the single cell organisms. It means that all they are the unicellular organisms and they have the well defined nucleus are present inside the nuclear membrane. It means that the nuclear membrane is present around their nucleus. Then second, they have the pseudopodia or hair-like projection or whip-like flagella for the locomotion purposes. Pseudopodia, it means that they do not have the true feet for the locomotion purpose, and that's why they can be locomoted from one place to another place, or they can be moved from one place to another place with the help of these cilia and flagella. Okay, then third one characteristics is the we are learn that here Volvox and Euglena is the autotrophic nutrition and Paramecium and amoeba is the heterotrophic in nutrition. Then second one is the then next is the kingdom fungi. Okay, so which are the characteristics of the living or organisms are belonging to this kingdom fungi? So this is the diagram of fungi. See, all of you are seeing this structure in rainy season. These are the mushroom like structure. Okay, and this fungi we are sealed onto the bread and chapatis on them. Okay, which are the characteristics? Okay, if I do not see the fungi, okay, so do very small thing at your home. Take a steel container and take a small piece of chapati or a bread inside the container and sprinkle some water on it. Okay, and airtight the container 2 to 3 days, and after 2 to 3 days one thread-like structure can be appear on it, and this thread-like structure is nothing but the fungi. So which are the characteristics? First, these are the non-green eukaryotic heterotrophic organisms. Okay, they are non-green, that's why chlorophyll is not present in them, and that's why they are depends on other organisms for the food purposes, or they are heterotrophic in nutrition. Then second, most of them are saprotrophs or saprophytic in nutrition. Okay, it means that they feed upon decaying organic matter. Okay, so they can be attack onto the dead organisms or a dead plant's body. Okay, and from them they taken the nutrition and grow and develop. Okay, and also they can be grow onto the some decaying organic matter. Then third one characteristic, their cell wall is made up of a tough and complex sugar called chitin. Then fourth characteristic, some fungi are thread-like and many nuclei are present in the cytoplasm. Okay, so earlier I am telling you their body structure is the thread-like, दोऱ्यासारखे संरचना त्यांची असते. Okay, and inside them many of the nuclei are present inside the cytoplasm. पेशी द्रव्यामध्ये अनेक केंद्रकी ह्या अस्तित्वात असतात. सो विच आर द एक्झाम्पल्स ऑफ द फंगाय? बेकर्स ईस्ट, aspergillus, penicillium and mushroom. Aspergillus is found onto the, this is also found onto the maca corn. Okay, then next is the bacteria. Okay, so now here we can learn that the classification of the microbes. Okay, so among all the living organisms are present onto the earth, microorganisms are the largest in number, and hence that's why they can be classified into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So bacteria are belonging to the prokaryotic cell, and protozoa, fungi, algae, virus are belonging to the eukaryotic cell. Okay, so here we can give information about all these microorganisms one by one. So first of all we can learn the characteristics of the bacteria. Okay, so bacteria, the size of the bacteria is ranges from 1 micrometer to 10 micrometers. So see this size, how they can be small. So we can see them only with the help of a microscope. See different sizes or a structure of the bacteria we can see here. Different sized bacteria are available onto the earth. Okay, and huge number of bacteria, actually huge number of microorganisms are available onto the earth. So which are the characteristics? So all the bacteria are unicellular, they can be independent or parasitic organisms, and sometimes many bacteria together form the colonies. सर्वसाधारणपणे जेवढे जीवाणू असतात ते एकपेशीय असतात. काही जीवाणू हे स्वतंत्रपणे राहतात, तर काही मात्र कॉलनी करून किंवा एकत्रितरित्या राहत असतात. देन सेकंड, बॅक्टेरियल सेल इज प्रोकॅरियोटिक विथ सेल वॉल but distinct nucleus or a cell organelles are absent. Okay, so the cell of the bacteria is prokaryotic, and we are learned that in this chapter the prokaryotic cell, it means that the well membrane bound nucleus and other cell organelles are available. But in case of bacteria, okay, it is the prokaryotic cell but cell wall, prokaryotic cell and cell wall is present, but the distinct nucleus and other cell organelles are not present there, they can be absent. Then bacteria can be reproduced by a simple binary fusion. साध्या द्विभाजन पद्धतीने त्यांच्यामध्ये प्रजनन घडून येत असतं, and binary fusion is the asexual method of the reproduction. Then fourth characteristics, if bacteria gets a favorable condition, so that time this bacteria grow very vigorously and they can be double their number in only 20 minutes. Then protozoa. Okay, so here is we can learn that the characteristics of the organisms belonging to the protozoa. So generally the size of the protozoa is approximately 200 micrometer, and protozoas are found in soil, fresh water and seawater. Some are found in the body of the other organisms and are pathogenic. Okay, so mostly protozoas are found everywhere, soil, fresh water and seawater. Okay, and many of the protozoas are found in other organisms body, and they create there the disease, okay, or illness condition. Then second characteristic, these are unicellular organisms with the eukaryotic cell. Then third one, there is a great variation in cell structure. Okay, त्यांच्या पेशीमध्ये किंवा पेशी संरचनेमध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणावरती विविधता ही आपल्याला आढळून येत असते. अँड द ऑर्गन्स ऑफ लोकोमोशन अँड द मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन अमंग प्रोटोझोआस. ओके, मग जे प्रोटोझोआज असतात. ओके, so which kinds of organisms are having them for the locomotion purposes, and which kind of nutrition they have, okay, depends on them, their cell structure. Then fourth characteristics, these organisms reproduce by simple cell division. साध्या पेशी विभाजन पद्धतीने त्यांच्यामध्ये प्रजनन हे घडून येत असते. ओके, so some are protozoas are the free living organisms, or free living protozoas or organisms. Okay, so amoeba, paramecium are the free living and they can found in dirty water. Then entoamoeba histolytica this protozoa causes the amoebasis disease, and Plasmodium vivax causes the malaria, and Euglena, okay, sorry, not Euglena, is the protozoa which is autotrophic in nutrition. Then next microorganism is the fungi. So fungi is ranges their size from 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. So which are the characteristics? These are found on decaying organic matter and dead bodies of the plants and ॲनिमल्स. वनस्पती आणि प्राण्यांचे जे मृत अवशेष असतात त्या मृत अवशेषांवरती ही फंगाय अटॅक करते किंवा बुरशी या ठिकाणी त्यांच्यावर होते आणि त्या ठिकाणून ती न्यूट्रिशन पोषक तत्व मिळून स्वतःची वाढ घडून आणते, विकास घडून आणते. देन सेकंड कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, these are eukaryotic organisms, some are unicellular and others are visible with naked eyes. Then third one, saprotrophic, absorb their food from decaying organic matter. Then fourth one, they reproduce sexually and asexually by cell division or by budding. Both type of reproduction can be carried out by the fungi, sexual and asexual. So sexually they can be reproduced by cell division and asexually by budding process. So which are the examples? Baker's yeast, candida and mushroom. Okay, then algae is ranges approximately 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. Okay, so algae are mostly are aquatic, generally पाण्यामध्येच आपल्याला algae ही आढळून येत असते. Then second one, they are the eukaryotic unicellular autotrophic organisms. And the third one, photosynthesis is carried out with the help of chloroplast present in the cell. Example, chlorella, Chlamydomonas. Okay, so these are the examples of the algae. Then very few species of the algae are unicellular and most of them are multicellular and visible with our naked eyes. Then viruses. The viruses are very small than the bacteria. Okay, approximately they are ranges a size 10 nanometer to 100 nanometers. So see how they can be small than the bacteria. Okay, so generally viruses are not considered as a living organisms, or they are said to be organisms at the age of living and non-living. They are studied only with the help of they are studied under microbiology. Okay, so microbiology is the branch of biology which deals with the study of microorganisms. Okay, so which are the characteristics of these viruses? Viruses are extremely minute and they are 10 to 100 times smaller than the bacteria and can be seen only with the help of a electron microscope. Then second characteristics, they are found in the form of independent particles. Viruses as a long molecules of a DNA. So what is the abbreviative form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA ribonucleic acid, and they covered by a protein coating on them. Okay, so viruses, earlier we have learned that viruses are not considered as a living organisms. Okay, so they are found in the form of independent particle. It is not the living organism, it is the independent particle, and this independent particle is made from the long molecule of a DNA or a RNA, or this particle is covered by a protein coating. Okay, so earlier we are suffering from the corona virus. Okay, this coronavirus is also having the protein coating around it. Okay, and the important characteristics of these viruses is viruses are survive only in living organisms. It means that the plants and the animal cells. Okay, and then if they enter into the animal body or a plant body, okay, they replicate them, okay, and they produce their own proteins, okay, and then they can be destroyed the host cell, okay, and then become free. And after destroying this cell, they can be attack onto the next new cell, okay, and same process they can be happen there, and they can be destroyed this new cell and they can be attack onto the next cell. Okay, then fourth one characteristics, viruses cause the many disease to the plants and the animals. Okay, so which are the diseases can be caused by the viruses in a human being and a cattle and in a plants? Okay, so most of the viruses to cause the disease to the human being is the polio, influenza, HIV and AIDS. Okay, then cattle, picorona virus, and onto the tomato, wilt virus is attack and produce a disease, and mosaic virus attack onto the tobacco, and viruses can be attack also onto the bacteria and they can be produce a disease to that bacteria. So on bacteria, bacteriophage virus can be attack. Okay, so in this manner, in this video we can give information about the chapter number first. I hope all of you are understand this chapter. Okay, so learn this chapter carefully or see this video carefully. Okay, goodbye.